Are you an older trail rider that wants to keep riding but are struggling with your confidence because maybe your arms and your hands get really fatigued, and this causes you to lose control, get exhausted quickly, and you either have to slow down, stop riding, take a rest, or you just don't have the same control that you used to when you were younger? Now, obviously, I'm not as old as you, but I can somewhat relate because I'm not a strong person. I've never worked out, so my hands and wrists get fatigued quickly, but that's only when I'm making a big mistake. So what mistake is this? Well, when you're out riding, you want to stand up to have more control, but if you think about it, while you're riding, are you putting more weight on your hands and arms? If so, this is causing you to get wrist fatigue, arm pump really quickly. Because when you're putting more weight on your hands and arms, they can't handle the weight of your upper body, especially when you're going over rocks or whooped terrain. It's kind of like doing pull-ups or push-ups, and while you can do that for a short period of time, if you're constantly putting that much pressure on your hands, they're gonna get rapidly exhausted in a few minutes. So if your hands get fatigued in 15 minutes or less, then you're probably putting too much pressure or weight on your hands, on the handlebars. And what happens when your arms and your wrists, they get fatigued quickly? Well, not only do you have to stop and take a rest or just slow down to have enough energy to keep riding, you're not going to have the same control because your arms pump up, and this makes it hard to even twist the throttle. So if your arms are pumped up, it's going to be really hard to use those muscles because it's like they're already flexing. So if you try and use even more muscle, it's really hard to twist the throttle. It feels like it's locked in place, and it's even hard to reach for the front brake or the clutch lever. So if you come up to a sharp corner and you don't really know what's around it, if you can't reach for the front brake, or if you can't pull it in hard enough, you're gonna go off course, maybe go down a cliff, maybe even hit a tree because you can't pull in the front brake hard enough. So when you're putting too much weight on your hands, not only is it harder to ride longer, but it's also more dangerous because you can't use the brake or the clutch or the throttle as efficiently. Maybe it's just riding up a hill and you need to give it more gas, but it's really hard to turn your wrist, so you lose your momentum, get stuck halfway up the hill, and if you don't know how to stop on the side of a hill, you're just gonna roll back down and hopefully the bike doesn't fall back down on you. So if you don't feel like or have time to work out and build up those muscles, which I don't like working out, I like to have fun, I'd rather ride, but if you also don't have time to ride more to build up your riding stamina, the easiest way is to correct this bad riding habit. And how do you do that? Well, you need to relax your arms and your hands while riding. But Kelly, how do you relax them if you need them to properly handle your bike and stay in control? Well, that is the question, isn't it? Well, when I was out riding in the mountains for the first time, especially going down steep hills with a lot of rocks, I felt like I was in control. I didn't crash, but when I was going down long hills, even if they weren't steep, I'd be putting a lot of pressure into my hands, and I would either have to stop halfway down the hill, or by the time I got done with the hill, my arms would just be jacked because they're so fatigued. I'd have to stop for like 5 minutes even though I was only 25 years old. But over the years, I was able to break the bad habit and form new positive riding habits that allowed me to relax my hands, and even if I was in the same or worse shape than I was before because I didn't ride enough, I was still able to relax my arms and ride longer, faster, and stay in more control going down those long hills with rocks because my arms and wrists and hands weren't getting exhausted as quickly. So how do you do that then? Where does that weight have to go? Well, that weight, instead of going into your hands, it has to go into your legs and your core, because that is what can handle all that extra weight and pressure. And this all goes back to staying balanced on the bike so that you can relax your body as much as possible while staying in control, which is one of the 3 main things that I teach in my virtual dirt biker school to give you confidence and stay safe. And if you're a casual rider that wants to stay in control while using less energy and not needing to practice more, grab my free guide at motocrosshideout.com/free lessons. I'm Kelly Fager from Motocross Hideout. Learn more, ride more, so that you can stay safe and have fun for many years to come, even if you're an old guy.